In this episode, I'd like to get into some of the practical applications of generating altruism in the world, not just on the meditation cushion, but also in our engagements with other people and how we conduct ourselves in a worldly sense. Meditation practice is a powerful experience, and there is enormous benefit from setting time aside every day to sit on a cushion, to find a quiet spot, and to really take the time to dive deep within the mind, to dive deep within our own experience. This can't be done always on a commuter train or in traffic or going to and from our house or buying groceries. It takes its own time to dive really deep. But we can't spend all day in deep meditation. We are constantly engaged with the world. We are constantly engaged with other people, which provides its own interesting opportunities for compassionate practice. Through developing experience, we develop self-confidence. And through developing confidence, we have a greater ability to naturally manifest our compassion wherever we are in any given situation. At a certain point, self-reflection becomes more automatic. Our awareness of mind, our mindfulness of our feelings and emotions, our thoughts, has its own momentum, which does not require as much cushion time to get back into that good mind state. This is really helpful in all kinds of situations. One of the most high octane, intense situations, which I find this practice to be most useful in, is driving on the highway. And for a lot of us, that comprises an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of our day. Driving at 70 miles an hour in a vehicle that is potentially dangerous in the wrong circumstances, with hundreds of other people who are going the exact same speed, or maybe too fast, maybe too slow, unaware of how we're all affecting each other, unaware of how that is affecting our minds. Practice of Dharma, practice of kindness and altruism is a literal lifesaver, I think, in these situations. The way in which we don't only focus on our own situation, our own life, me, myself, and I, but how we can extend our concern, extend our awareness, and extend our compassion to other people on the road. It doesn't take a whole lot of driving for someone to make a bold or seemingly aggressive move on the road. And whenever I'm cut off in traffic, I know that I do tend to have a flash of what's wrong with this person. Why are they doing this? There's something wrong with them. At the same time, through a consistent practice of self-reflection and compassion, I'm able to curb that thought, to let my anger sizzle out, to let my anger arise, but not to give in to that, not to give in to the road rage, and then to let it pacify itself, and then to develop something else, develop kindness, to develop altruism, and especially to be able to put myself in someone else's shoes, developing sympathetic understanding. This is known as the practice of Tonglen, the ability to exchange self and other, to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and understand their state of mind, to relate to other people, and to understand conditions and situations which are not directly applicable to us, but which we can understand because we are all beings. We are all living beings who desire happiness and want to be free from suffering. At the moment of road rage, I often put myself in someone else's shoes, particularly when I know that I have made some pretty sketchy driving decisions in the past, when I was frantic and late for an appointment, when a friend in trouble needed me and I was driving out as soon as I can, during a family emergency. I don't care so much about the rules of the road, and I tend to do anything in my power to get from point A to point B as fast as possible. Could it be that another person on the road who has cut me off could be in a similar situation? Maybe, maybe not. But at least I'm not stuck in my own fixed negative emotions. I'm allowing myself to open my mind more and more and more. I'm allowing myself to not habitually jump to a state of suffering, not habitually cling to my ego and my ego attachment. Regardless of another person's situation, my ability to put myself in their shoes, my ability to open up my heart, to open myself to a larger self rather than just my small self, becomes a saving grace for my own mental well-being, and also opens up new opportunities in how I can interact with someone else. For those who are unrelatable to us, it's difficult to form friendships. It's difficult to form relationships, business, romantic, etc. The unfamiliarity of another person can cause fear, can cause discrimination, can cause conflict. But as children, little kids have the ability to look at someone else and put themselves more or less in their tiny little shoes, to reach out and not care so much about their own little world, but opening themselves up to someone else, to ignore the perceived boundaries between self and other, and to make friends easily. This is a skill children naturally have before contrived boundaries and differences arise over time, which tend to separate us rather than unite us. Through the practice of Tonglen, exchanging self and other, considering what it would be like to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, and taking joy in their success, feeling concern during their difficulties, we extend our altruistic practice, we extend our care and concern, and ultimately we extend the ability of our mind to feel more joy, to feel more peace, beyond attachment to the sense of self. We become happier people by extending ourselves farther outward and letting go of attachment to the sense of self. It may seem counterintuitive, but this is the case. This is something which cannot be told, that cannot be taught, but something that has to be understood from our own personal experience, our own ability to exchange self and other, and to widen our mind, to widen our perception, and feel the freedom that comes from that, to feel the joy which comes from letting go of the attachment to the sense of self. When that joy is experienced, our confidence grows. Our confidence builds more and more and more into second nature. As our confidence builds and as our understanding builds, so too does our skillful means. Our ability to skillfully apply our intentions of being kind to others. The intention, having a compassionate intention is a powerful thing, and it guides so many great practices and so much benefit for both ourself and the world. But there is also the need for skillful means, where to skillfully apply our efforts, where are we most likely to succeed. Not that we should not have compassion where it seems like we cannot succeed, but putting our best skillful efforts into helping others without getting swept away in spiritual vagueness. Fully appreciating both the circumstances that have brought us here and the circumstances which bring ourself and other beings benefit. Fully appreciating our world, fully enjoying our world, not just picking it apart for what is positive and what is negative, but transforming all our experiences for the benefit of self and others. The path of Dharma, the path to enlightenment in Tibetan Buddhism, greatly emphasizes the twofold benefit of both self and other, because letting go of attachment to the sense of self is a benefit to us as we find more and more happiness over time. And it is also a benefit to others, as our practices of compassion, kindness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity and equality also benefit those around us. By skillfully applying ourselves to situations, putting ourselves in someone else's position, and working for the benefit of others, we benefit our communities. And as we all know, when the community thrives, we thrive. We tend to live in polarized times. We tend to live in situations where a person is either right or wrong, where they're good, where they're bad, whether they're right or they're left, which doesn't leave a whole lot of positive influence on crossing that line. It doesn't leave a whole lot of opportunity to reach out, to be a good neighbor, to be a good friend, to extend ourselves to others, to make connections rather than building walls. Through Dharma practice, we influence our environment by being that positive change that we want to see in the world, as Gandhi said. Through altruism, we benefit our community, and that community in turn benefits us. Through skillful means, we see not just with blind faith, but with full confidence, full experience, how we can best serve the world, how we can best elevate our environment. And in turn, this is how we too are elevated to a point where the separation between ourself and others dissolves, and our well-being is the well-being of all people. So this is what I wanted to speak about, and I hope to see you again in the future through Tricycle or some other means. You can find more of our programs in my sangha, the Mangala Shri Bhuti Sangha, at mangalashribhuti.org, and keep practicing.